So here's the thing about Daddy Time, the song. I think it's so important when fathers spend time with their children. I believe when you have those special moments as a dad with your son, your daughter, it impacts that child even beyond that moment. And so just throughout my early childhood, I remember, there were some special things that me and my dad would always do together. And one of them was, I remember we would always go to this place called Woolworth. That's an old diner, and we would. It was kind of like a Walgreens type of deal, but it was a store. Then they had a diner on the inside of it, and we would go sit at the counter of that diner probably about once a week. And I would order. I remember I would order a hamburger with just meat, mayonnaise, and bread, and so and then some French fries. And so that was just a special moment, and we did that once again, almost every week, just me and my dad. And so that was just a special time. There were some other things that, we did. We played baseball together. I was growing up, I really liked the game of baseball. And so we'd play that and just different things. I remember there was one moment where maybe I was in junior high, and I really took a liking to astrology and astronomy. And so he bought me a telescope. And I remember we waited. It was one year where Halley's Comet was passing by. That was a comet that only comes by once every 75 years. And so we had about a week time frame to try to spot the comet. And so I remember every night, every evening, we're out there with the telescope trying to find the comet. And finally, on the very last night that it was visible, we found it together. And I never will forget, my dad looked at me. He said, I probably won't be here next time it comes around. And so, but just moments like that just impacted me just throughout my entire life. And so, I never will forget the moment that me and my wife had children, and I didn't realize how impactful those moments were, that those daddy times were, until I had my own children. And so, it's just, as years went by, and so my kids were young, and I remember I was working at a local church, and so I had Fridays off. And so every Friday, I started out this tradition with my son. We would go to the barbecue restaurant, and we'd have barbecue, and we'd have French fries and sweet tea and moon pies. And so when my daughter was born, she kind of just followed right into that tradition. And so I remember one day I was sitting there, and we would take photos there because they loved it. They'd have smiles. We'd be laughing, just great old times. And that's when it dawned on me that, the things I'm doing with my children are things that my dad did with me, And, I'll never forget, I took the picture, I posted it online, and I said this. When I posted the picture, it was a picture of my son and my daughter, and both of them at different times in the same barbecue restaurant, but they both had smiles on their faces. And when I posted the picture on my social media, I said, they can forget all my messages, all my sermons that I preach. I said, but I hope they will never forget the barbecue and French fries and the sweet tea and moon pies. And a friend of mine, he commented, he goes, man, that is a country song right there. And so from then on, I just started writing down a few words and things like that, and some reflections on, the daddy times that I've had with my children. And some of them are reflections on me and my dad's daddy time together. But I just wanted to encourage fathers out there, because it's so important, the things that you do with your children, or the moments that you share with them. And so what I began to do, I began to journal those moments down, because I wanted to have something to where I could give my kids, maybe for graduation gift, they will always have. And so when I journal those down, I kind of share some memories from daddy time with them, things that I'm doing with them. I also share some little words of wisdom that I want them to always live by, and just remember, even after I'm long gone, they'll have those words written down, and that hopefully will inspire them and encourage them. But once again, I wrote this song probably about 2 years ago, and we're just now getting around to producing it. But I'm excited. It's called Daddy Time. And so I just want to encourage the fathers that are out there to never forget those special moments that are so impactful and will last an eternity when they take a little time to spend with their children. So, my kids, they definitely enjoy the song. They run around the house singing it all the time. Of course, they were just a big inspiration behind the song, so they enjoy it. Take a listen, and I hope you enjoy it too.
It's barbecue and French fries, sweet tea and moon pies, lots of laughs and lots of smiles. It's daddy time, daddy time. Just a man who never knew how my life would change from then. The moment they were born, I was born again.